listeners, and welcome to episode 130 of the Nigeria Football Weekly podcast. I'm your host, Okereke. And as usual, I'll be running through how our Nigerian players performed over the past week and covering any key topics that everybody needs to be aware about. Of course, doing the ones to watch, and of course, doing the Star Boys of the week. But firstly, before I get started, I just wanted to say a big shout out to Arsenal. God bless you. God bless my team. We dispatched Real Madrid as expected. 2-1 on the night. 5-1 on aggregate when the semi-final of the Champions League. So all you Real Madrid fans, commiserations, but there's a new team in town, there's a new sheriff in town. And honestly, I just wanted to just big up the boys. Bukayo Saka, Declan Rice, the whole squad, in fact, for making my Wednesday last week such a wonderful experience. One of the best days of my life, to be honest. And then we move and we'll be seeing PSG next week. But anyway, I just wanted to get the Arsenal stuff around the world out of the way, and congratulations to all Arsenal fans watching this. It's our time. Yes, Liverpool can get the Premier League, nice for them, but we got the big S to win, so fingers crossed we'll be able to get the job done. Yeah, so what have been the standout performances from Nigerian players over the past week? Firstly, I want to shout out Umar Sadiq. Umar Sadiq came on for Valencia in the 66th minute in the league game against Real Sociedad, and he got on the score sheet literally less than 10 minutes later. Fantastic goal. Strikers finish, you could call it. They squared the ball to him. And then initially his touch actually hit the post. But then the ball somehow came back straight to him. And he just tapped it in from literally like 2 yards out. But anyway, he continues to have a really, really good spell. Probably the best spell of his career in the last 2-3 years. So really, really good to see. He now has 4 goals out of 11 games for Valencia. Valencia have moved from 20th to 14th ever since he moved over. So that's a big, big shout out for Umar Sadiq. Sorry, he was not playing Real Sociedad. He was playing Rayo Vallecano. He left Real Sociedad. That's what I was trying to say. But really, really fantastic for him. Valencia, when he signed for them, were 20th and bottom of La Liga. Now they're 14th and definitely safe of the drop. So fantastic all-around performance from Umar Sadiq. He even had a chance to score a second one, but he was just a bit unlucky with the finish. Literally like from 2 yards, but the ball came at him a bit too quickly. And he couldn't add to his tally. But really, really good stuff from Umar Sadiq. Also, I wanted to shout out Alex Iwobi. Shout out to my cousin for getting him to shout me out.
Yo, Olu, yo, Alex here. Keep watching the football.
Alex Iwobi scored his 9th goal of the season in the Premier League. His best return ever in a Premier League season. Mind you, he plays as left winger, plays as central midfielder, plays as a cam in some games. So for him to continue having the best season of his career Premier League-wise is really something special to write home about. It's a shame that Chelsea were able to come back and win 2-1. Obviously, good luck, good for the Chelsea fans out there. But Fulham literally had this tie in control. And then Tyreek George, who's actually eligible to play for Nigeria, scored the equalizer before Pedro Neto scored an absolute belter towards the end of the game to make it 2-1. Really, really good finish for Pedro Neto, so I can't begrudge him that. But as for Alex Iwobi, he's Fulham's second top goal scorer this season and has been very, very impressive. There's even arguments where I know he was nominated for the team of the season on FIFA, for example, and he's just been, a fantastic player and servant for Fulham so far in the 2 years that he's been there. Really beginning to showcase his skills, He's already 28, he'll be 29 soon, or if he's not 29 already. So really and truly he's in the prime of his career, and this continues to show with the performances he keeps putting up for Fulham FC. There's even an argument that he could be the best Nigerians playing in the Premier League. He'll never have the shout-outs like Okocha for sure. But when you look at the longevity, the goals, the assists, and how long he's been playing in the Premier League, consistently, and he's been playing in Prem for over 10 years now, or at least close to 10 years, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out to Alex Iwobi. Despite the loss, I just wanted to shout you out for an incredible performance yet again. Also, I wanted to shout out to Ademola Lookman. Atalanta continue to get back to winning ways. They beat AC Milan 1-0 at the San Siro, courtesy of a goal from Ederson. Fantastic Brazilian central defensive midfielder. He can also play centre back. Now, despite Lookman not scoring in this game or assisting, this is one of those games that shows the value of the eye test. When you watch Lookman's performance in the game, or even the highlights, which I urge you to watch, you can see that he played a pivotal role in literally everything good that Atalanta did in this game. Even the goal they scored, it was him who clipped the ball into the box for Bellanova to then head the ball into the path of Ederson. who then had not a simple task, but was able to just guide his header into the back of the net past Mike Magnon. So fantastic goal. Also, after that, he created a gilt-edged chance from Okereke to make it 2-0. Okereke somehow missed the goal. Honestly, it was easier to miss than it was easier to score than miss. But Okereke missed the chance. And even in stoppage time, he was very unlucky not to score. Very, very good effort as well, but it just didn't go in for him. But really, really good, fantastic game in terms of eyesight. And I want to shout out Lookman as Atalanta now consolidate third place in Serie A. They're too far behind at Inter Milan and Napoli because they have 64 points and those two teams have 71 with about 5 games to go. So they're not going to win the Scudetto. But they have a cushion over Bologna in fourth and Juventus. So as long as they consolidate that third place spot, Lookman will do his job for them. And in the summer, let's see what happens for Lookman regarding transfers. But really good performance. Also, I wanted to shout out Okereke. He scored yet another goal for Gaziantep. It's his 8th league goal of the season. Yes, it's the Turkish league, but look, a goal is the goal. He also got an assist last week as well, so it's not been a bad season at all for him so far. He's been a bit of a journeyman in recent seasons because he's either been too good for teams that are in relegation zones, like in Serie when he was it Cremonese or one of those teams, or he's not quite good enough to play for the best sides in this so quote unquote smaller leagues. So Gaziantep, you can say, is like a nice compromise. I think they're 5th, 6th, or 7th in the league. And he's still doing pretty decently. Annoyingly though, Gaziantep conceded 2 goals after his early goal and lost the game. But it's always nice to see a player do well and scoring goals for himself. Also, Tolu Arokodare scored his 19th league goal of the season. It's a shame that he came in a loss as they lost 2-1. It's a bit too little too late. Genk lost the game 2-1 and they now dropped to second. However, he's 1 goal ahead of Adriano Bertaccini of St. Truden, but it's still a good thing being a top goal scorer in the league despite Genk's ultimately poor result in this game. To make matters worse, they're playing against Union Saint-Gilloise, so that's one of the teams that's fighting for the title. So it's Genk, Union Saint-Gilloise, and Club Brugge who all have a chance of winning that Belgian league title. But this loss by Genk now means that Rafael Yedika's Club Brugge have gone up to the top spot of the Belgian league, which I'll get into in a bit. Also, shout out Rafiu Durosimi. He scored a goal yet again for Victoria Pilsen in their 4-2 win over Dukla Praha over the weekend. It was his 7th goal after coming back from injury, and he's averaging a goal or assist in every 59 minutes played, which is just fantastic. He also has 5 goals. He has 5 goals or assists in his last 5 games. So we know he was supposed to make a move, initially, but the lengthy injury halted his plans. Sure, it should be very interesting to see where it ends up in the summer, or if he gives Victoria Pilsen another year, considering he just came back from an injury. So look out for that one. Also, shout out to Super Eagles #1 goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali. He had a great game and kept a clean sheet for Chippa United against Kaiser Chiefs over the weekend. I don't know if anyone's heard about, what's that guy? Something Mwamwa. Papa Mama, the famous Kaiser Chiefs fan. It'll be interesting to see what he would have thought about this game after Nwabali's performances. He made 3 saves for good measure and the game ended 0-0. So although they didn't quite win, Nwabali did his job. And probably the star boy of the week, I wanted to shout out Chukwubuikem Ikwuemesi. He's a player that has been a bit of a journeyman too. He's played some Serie A games. I think it was at Salernitana for a bit last year or the year before. Played some Serie B games, played some Serie A games. And now he's in Belgium at OH Leuven. Leuven are currently playing in the Conference League playoff within the Belgian league table because they've all broken up into 6-team mini leagues, as you could tell. But he got 2 goals and got an assist for OH Leuven in their 4-4 draw against FCB Denda over the weekend. Now, you could say it's not the biggest or the toughest opposition, but anytime you get 2 goals and 1 assist in a match, 3-goal contributions, my brother, you have to be celebrated. So Chukwubuikem Ikwuemesi, congratulations and well done on your great performance. Another key thing I wanted to highlight, because we must be fair and highlight all the news that we come across, there's been some NPFL Woes that's been communicated over the past week. We've seen some unfortunate stories about the NPFL. Now, Nasarawa United, the NPFL, and the NFF have all been found negligent for the passing of a player in 2020. Now, Chineme Martins passed at the age of 25 in 2020, after collapsing during a game for Nasarawa United, and it was basically due to them having insufficient medical services. To make matters worse, in typical Nigerian negligence behavior, in 2020, NFF's website stated that the player had neither a medical doctor nor a physiotherapist at the game, and there was no functional ambulance at the stadium at the time of the incident. Now, these are all things that the league and the governing body of the league have a duty of care for the players. As the court stated, the league, the match commissioners, and the NFF have a duty of care to ensure that the club complied with all relevant relegations and breached them. So the NFF cannot just blame everybody like they like to do for any problem that happens. They are negligent. We all know this anyway. And it's people that like to support mediocrity. I see them in my comments sometimes that lead to this kind of behavior. They'll be shouting, NPFL player, come and play for Super Eagles. But what is the state of the league? Where are the facilities? Where's the improvements? Forget even performing, just the basics. Medical care, having the right emergency services to deal with players. These are athletes. We know that the possibility of injuries or these kind of medical collapses, while being few and far between in terms of heart problems, it still happens regularly, and it's likely to happen to athletes over other type of normal people. So once again, it's a shame that we have to speak about the basics not being provided. So shame on NFF, shame on the NPFL. We will cover when there's good news too, but we also highlight when there's problems. So may Chineme Martin's soul continue to rest in peace, and we hope that this gives a bit of peace for his family, so to speak. And NFF, do better. Also, just to mention in terms of our underage squads when it comes to Nigeria, the under-20 Nigerian men AFCON squad has been announced. The head coach of the Nigerian under-20 men's national team has announced the full squad for the AFCON tournament, which will be taking place in Egypt. Today is Monday, April 21st. It will be taking place from the 27th of April, which is in exactly 6 days' time. So next week, Sunday, all the way up until the 18th of May. We've seen 3 goalkeepers called up, 5 defenders, 6 midfielders, and in typical Nigerian style, they've called up about 10 attackers. So anyway, I'm not going to try and act like I know too much about the under-20 squad, but we will observe. But something needs to be done about the way we select our squad list, man. So, but anyway, we wish the Flying Eagles all the best, and we'll be sure to bring you all the updates on how they perform throughout this tournament. Also, in the under-17 women's team, they've been playing World Cup qualifiers. They dispatched Algeria 4-0 over the weekend in Ikene. The goals were scored by Queen Joseph. Shout out to her. She netted in the 1st minute and 18th minute. Zainab Raji, who scored in the 13th minute, and also Aishat Animation, who scored in stoppage time to round off the victory. The Flamingos are one step closer to securing qualification for the World Cup, which will be held in Morocco from October 17th to November 8th this year. Look at the moves Morocco continue to make. While us, we are dilly-dallying. We don't have one good stadium, but they will tell you that giant of Africa. Let's be observing now. From the information I've been able to gather, I can't confirm, but I'm pretty sure that if the Flamingos win the tie over both legs, they will qualify for the World Cup. So look out for that piece of information. If you reach this place, once again, I want to thank you for all the support and taking the time to watch. Please remember to like this video. It really does a lot for us in the algorithm. Please continue to share to your friends or people who you know enjoy Nigerian football content. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you're new here or you haven't subscribed before. I appreciate every single listener. And even if you're listening on the DSPs, we appreciate every single person that we could get to listen to this podcast. It is much, much appreciated always. So thank you. Moving on to the usual schedule in terms of player performances, starting with the Premier League as usual. I see the sun has come out, so bear with me in this background, but you know, this is the best I could do for today. In the Premier League, Ola Aina and Taiwo Oni will play against Tottenham Hotspur tonight. Fingers crossed that they could get back to 3rd place, because it's looking very, very tight for the 5 teams trying to get those 3 spots in the Champions League. Next up for them after today, they've got one of the biggest games of their careers. They will be playing Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-final on Sunday, 4:30 p.m. So look out for that one. I already spoke about Alex Iwobi's exploits, but Bassey, of course, played in the game as well. He played 90 minutes, got a yellow card in that 2-1 loss to Chelsea. Fulham remain 9th, and next up for them, they play Southampton away on Saturday, which they would expect to get a routine victory. As for Ndidi, he played 83 minutes. He hit the post, unfortunately, very, very unlucky. But Leicester, as usual, very, very timid, very, very drab. They got beaten 1-0 by Liverpool. Fantastic goal by Trent Alexander-Arnold. And you can read into whatever you like about the celebration, but it looked like he was trying to, make a point of some sort to the team, to Liverpool fans, considering the fact that he's likely going to be leaving the team very, very soon. But anyway, next up for Leicester, they play Wolverhampton away, and I'm very intrigued to see what happens with Ndidi in the summer because I'm not sure he has fully lost it, but at the same time, I don't really think he's that ambitious career-wise. He should not have stayed at Leicester, and he decided to stay at Leicester. I just don't get it. When he should have left Leicester, he did not leave. So, you know what? I'm just bored. Good luck to you, Wilfred Ndidi. We'll see what happens in your career. Could have been so much more club-wise, but here we are now. And of course, Southampton, they even did not lose. They drew over the weekend, 1-1 against West Ham. So their interim manager has now gotten 20% of their total points for the season in just their last 2 games because they've been able to get 2 draws. Aribo did not play this game, but Onuachu played 69 minutes, which was good. He did get a yellow card in this game, unknowingly. But next up for them, they will be playing against fellow Nigerians, the Fulham boys, at home on Saturday. Other fixtures to be aware about in the Premier League over the weekend. We saw Brentford beat Brighton 4-2. We saw Man City beat Everton 2-0, courtesy of goals from Nico O'Reilly and Mateo Kovacic. We saw Crystal Palace and Bournemouth draw 0-0. Pretty disappointing drab game. Aston Villa dispatched Newcastle in probably one of the games of the round on Saturday evening, 4-1. Really, really great performance from Ollie Watkins, and it's always fresh to hear a player talk about how pissed off he was about not being able to play or start games against PSG. Yesterday on Sunday, we saw Arsenal dispatch Ipswich Town 4-0. Very, very routine game. Honestly, it was nice to just watch a nice, easy, breezy match. We also saw Wolverhampton beat Man United. No surprise there. I told you Man U would lose. They're such a useless club. Enjoy all the benefits you got against Lyon on Thursday, but my God, Lyon are so stupid. In fact, Lyon are so rubbish that they lost their first derby yesterday against Saint Etienne, who are second bottom of League One, 2-1 yesterday. So Lyon, honestly, they deserve slaps. Man United, you people know you deserve slaps. Because what do you mean Manchester United are 14th in the league and have lost 15 games? Hey, very, very disgraceful. But fantastic free kick by Sarabia. Also, we mentioned the Fulham-Chelsea result. And of course, Liverpool inching closer to the title with their 1-0 win over Leicester. Game week fixtures to be aware about. There will be 2 midweek games on Wednesday. Manchester City play Aston Villa at the Etihad, while Arsenal play Crystal Palace at Emirates on Wednesday. If Arsenal do not win that game, it will mean that Liverpool will clinch the title without kicking a ball. However, if we do win, Liverpool will have to wait till they play Tottenham Hotspur at Anfield on Sunday. If they win that game, they will clinch the league title because they just need 3 more points to get the job done. Early kickoff on Saturday, we'll see Chelsea host Everton at Stamford Bridge. We've got 4 3 p.m. kickoffs, including the Nigerian games. So Wolves play Leicester City, Southampton hosts Fulham, Brighton hosts West Ham, and Newcastle hosts Ipswich Town at St. James's Park. We will then see Sunday games because there's no late kickoff because of the FA Cup semi-finals. We will then see Bournemouth play Man United 2 p.m. on Sunday, Liverpool at Anfield against Tottenham 4:30. And then on Thursday, we'll get a rearranged fixture with Nottingham Forest playing Brentford. And that is because Nottingham Forest will be playing in the FA Cup semi-final against Manchester City. Remember, the other FA Cup tie will involve Aston Villa against Crystal Palace, and that will be taking place on Saturday. So look out for those games. Table, Liverpool, 79 points after 33 games. 3 more points, they'll clinch the title. Arsenal, 7 points clear of 3rd place Newcastle. So we're in our own lonely island. And then you've got Newcastle in 3rd with 59 points. City 4th with 58 points. Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, and Villa all have 57 points. But if Nottingham Forest win tonight, they will go back above Newcastle to 3rd place. So look out for that. Relegation zone, no point talking about it. And no point talking about Dumb and Dumber and Man United or Tottenham. So that's it in terms of the Premier League. In Serie I already spoke about what Lookman did as Atalanta beat AC Milan on Sunday. Next up for them, they play Lecce at home on Friday. As of Dele-Bashiru, he did not play in the game on Thursday as Lazio beat Bodo Glimt 3-1, but then lost on penalties 3-2. Honestly, the last few penalties were shocking. Honestly, like, don't go and watch it. It was so bad. Also, they were supposed to play against Genoa today, but in light of the Pope Francis passing away this morning, may his soul rest in peace. All Serie A games scheduled for today have been postponed out of respect for the Pope. So next up for Dele-Bashiru and Lazio, they will play Parma at home on Saturday. Samuel Chukwueze played the final 7 minutes of that 1-0 loss for Milan against Atalanta. Let's see if he gets any minutes on Wednesday in the Coppa Italia semi-final second leg against Inter, or if he gets some game against Valencia away on Sunday. Maduka Okereke was also scheduled to play today for Udinese against Torino, but their game has also been postponed. So let's see what next for Maduka and Udinese. Also, I wanted to shout out Tyrone Ebuehi. Over the weekend, he returned to action after being injured for a while. He played the final minutes of the game for Empoli. He played the last 20 minutes as Empoli drew 2-2 against Venezia on Sunday. The draw helped neither team as they both remain 18th and 19th on 25 points. They are 1 point adrift of Lecce, who have 26, and Parma have 28 points. So let's see if Ebuehi and Empoli are able to somehow salvage their season. However, they've got the small matter of the Coppa Italia semi-final second leg against Bologna away on Thursday. They're already 3-0 down, so the tie's as good as done pretty much. But they'll be hoping for better times against Fiorentina away on Sunday. But that's very unlikely because Fiorentina's attack has been looking very, very good. Also, I just wanted to touch on the Bundesliga. Victor Boniface, while coming on in the 89th minute, while Tella played 89 minutes, got a yellow card, as Bayer Leverkusen once again failed to win their tie. They drew 1-1 against St. Pauli. They were 1-0 up from a Patrick Schick goal, and yet again they conceded in the final 11 minutes of the game. If you see the goal they conceded as well, like the goalkeeper has hung his head in shame. Free kick, parried the ball. Literally, the goalkeeper could have caught the ball, but he just parried it to a St. Pauli player to slap it into the net. So it's not been good. Bayern Munich will surely win the league very, very soon because Leverkusen are now 8 points behind them with 4 games to go. So 2 more wins and Harry Kane will have the first title of his career. Whoop, whoop. He's no longer a Tottenham player, so I can wish him well in that regard. Next up for Leverkusen, they play Frank Onyeka's Orban at home on Saturday. One thing I wanted to mention about Boniface, it's been quite interesting. I want to monitor for the summer because we know Xabi Alonso is likely heading to Real Madrid. But I think one thing we've seen with Victor Boniface is although we cannot deny his ability and how good he is, his availability is one of his biggest problems. They always say that the biggest attribute or the best attribute you can have in football is availability. If you can't play games, you're almost useless. Look at Neymar over the past 2 years. And I think Boniface has to be very, very careful. You know, it's not his fault, his body. But there are things he could do in terms of the way he trains or the way he eats or the way he prepares to maybe make himself a bit more durable. Because when you look at what's been happening to him, I think his lack of availability has led to him being on the periphery recently. He's not been starting games and he's being given slave minutes here and there by Xabi Alonso, which was not the case initially. I mean, his injury record is so bad, but his numbers remain decent. This season, he's got 10 goals in all competitions and 1 assist, but he's only started 15 games. Now, the problem is he has only played 26 games in total out of 46. So he has missed almost half of all Bayer Leverkusen games from injury. Even last season when he scored 22 goals and had 9 assists in 25 starts and broke into the wider consciousness of Europe, he played 35 games but still missed 18 whole games. So I think it's an interesting one to monitor because the talent is not in doubt. This is a fantastic player and we know that he has it in there. But he needs to be fit for an entire season to continue his trajectory. The good thing is he should remain in Leverkusen for another season and they will make the Champions League because they're comfortable in second place. But he needs to put together a stunning season because the numbers are there, but he needs a much bigger sample size to really go to the level where he needs to be. You can see that even him is no longer saying, "No, I don't want to move to Premier League. I like La Liga." It's because beggars are not choosers. Right now, nobody's coming for Boniface. Go and improve your durability and play some games, brother. And we'll see you on the other side, my friend. As for Frank Onyeka, he played 90 minutes as Orban got yet another clean sheet. They drew 0-0 against Eintracht Frankfurt at home on Sunday. And let's see how they get on when they play Bayer Leverkusen on Saturday. As for Kevin Akpoguma and Gift Urban's Hoffenheim, Akpoguma played all 90 minutes and Gift Urban came on for the final 29 minutes as they lost 3 to Freiburg on Saturday. Next up for them, they play Borussia Dortmund at home on Saturday coming. In La Liga, very unfortunate news for Christos Uche as he got yet another red card in Getafe's 1-0 loss to Espanyol. It's his second red card of the year, and he only just came back from suspension recently. To be fair to him, though, it was very unlucky to get that red card. One of those ones where his foot just unluckily planted on the defender's shin. He was initially given a yellow card. They took it to VAR, and he got dismissed. So one to watch, because I'm not sure how many games he'll be suspended for, considering the one that they gave Mbappe 1 year, 1 game ban. When should I mean 3 games? So let's see what happens. But he will definitely miss their game against Real Madrid, which should be taking place this Wednesday, because there's midweek fixtures in La Liga this week. I already spoke about Umar Sadiq's exploits. He will be in action tomorrow as they play Valencia play Espanyol at home. So let's see if he continues his good goal scoring streak. And speaking of Sevilla, Chidera Juke started the game and played 45 minutes in Sevilla's 1-1 draw against Deportivo Alaves on Sunday. Next up for them, they play Osasuna away on Thursday. In League 1, George Eleni Kenna came on in the final minutes of the game as Monaco drew 0-0 against Strasbourg. One of those ones where he's on the periphery right now. Like, he's definitely not getting the big game, so to speak, since they signed Makabereth from Stormgrass. But hopefully he could get some more minutes when they play Le Havre away on Saturday. Also, Chukwubuikem played 80 minutes as Lille beat Auxerre 3-1 on Sunday. Next up for them, they play Angers away on Sunday. Moses Simon played 90 minutes again, but Nantes lost 2-1 to Rennes. Next up for them, they play PSG at home tomorrow, and then they play Toulouse at home on Sunday. It's looking very, very, very tricky for Nantes. They could get dragged into a relegation battle because they're only 2 points ahead of the drop. So look out for this. A part of me almost wants Nantes to be relegated, so Simon can currently leave those people. Like, he clearly needs to push himself. What's with Nigerian players are not pushing themselves? Simon, Ndidi, Iheanacho, all capable of better than they've shown us. It's only the Lookmans, the Osimens that you can see are really trying to push to maximize all aspects of their career. And I'd just love to see some ambition from some of these guys. Stop being comfortable being a big fish in a small pond. Moses Simon, let's see what you can do at the end of this season. Ejo, we're begging. Also, shout out to Hafiz Ibrahim, the Nigeria striker. He played 28 minutes for Reims as they beat Toulouse 1-0 on Sunday. It's their 3rd win in their last 5 games. And you can see his gradual introduction into the team over the past 7 games. He initially was assigned to their B team, but now with their manager on the upturn in form in the past 7 games, you can see that Hafiz is being introduced, playing minutes here or there, starting in the cup games. But hopefully, he can continue to build on this and end up starting some games between now and the end of the season or next year. Next game for them, they play Montpellier, who are dead last, so you'd expect him to get some significant minutes in that game. As for Hamza Ojediran for Lens, he was on the bench as they beat Brest 3-1, while Terry Murphy also was an unused sub for Nice as they beat Angers 2-1 on Sunday. Next up for Murphy, they play PSG away on Friday. You remember last year, Murphy scored 2 goals at the Parc des Princes for Nice against PSG, so I'm sure he'll be happy to go back there and hopefully get some minutes in this game. In Turkey, I already spoke about the amazing stuff that Osimhen did. One thing to also note is I saw some crazy stat trying to say he missed 4 big chances. But if you watch the game, a lot of these games, it's him that did it for himself. I mean, he had one chance cleared off the line by a Belgium defender. There was another chance where he took down the cross and literally single-handedly went through like 4 Belgium defenders before the goalkeeper made a smart save. So look out for this. And Osimhen continues to be the top goal scorer. Fenerbahce dropped points on Sunday after a 3-3 draw against Kayserispor. Osayi-Samuel was also at fault for the second goal. He didn't track his player well. But I'll get onto that. So now, Galatasaray have a 5-point cushion with, I think, 5 or 6 games to go. But before that, tomorrow, Osimhen will be playing Konyaspor away in the Turkish Cup semi-final. So look out for that. It'll be nice for him to live with the double before he then plays Eyüpspor away on Sunday. As I said for Osayi-Samuel, they're 5 points behind with 6 games to play. Considered a last-minute equalizer. They went 3-2 up, and then Kayserispor scored a last-minute equalizer. To now rub his into injury. My Milan Skriniar still hit the bar for Fenerbahce after it became 3-3 with a chance to make it 4-3. So better luck next time. And they even drew this game at home. So they've given the advantage back to Galatasaray, who already had the advantage anyway. But next up for them, they play Okereke's Gaziantep away on Saturday. So let's see what Okereke and Co can do. Also, Anthony Dennis played 90 minutes for Gaziantep. They drew 1-1 against Besiktas on Sunday. They would also be in action in the Turkish Cup semi-final. They play Trabzonspor away on Thursday. And then they play Istanbul Basaksehir next week, Monday. Zaidu Sainsi was on the bench, unused sub for Porto in a 2-1 win over Famalicão. They remain fourth in the league, which is disgraceful for Porto. They're the Portuguese league's most successful side alongside Benfica. So just a shame. So look out for what happens with Sainsi in the summer, because I'll be very, very surprised if he stays. Although there's a chance that the manager may not stay either. So let's see what goes on regarding that one. I already spoke about Tolu Arokodare's exploits for Genk, even though they lost to Union Saint-Gilloise. Next up for them, they play Royal Antwerp on Wednesday, and then they play Royal Antwerp again on Sunday at home. But the Wednesday game will be away. As I mentioned, Rafa Edika's Club Brugge are now top of the league. They thrashed Ghent 5-0. Jordan Torunariga played in this game and conceded 5 as a Ghent defender. Rafa Edika in superb form as usual. Club Brugge are now top of the league. No surprise considering their form and pedigree. They're the defending champions. You saw how well they did in Champions League. And they just have the muscle, they just have it all. So let's see if they can continue their good form when they play Union Saint-Gilloise at home on Thursday, and then they play Union Saint-Gilloise away on Sunday. As for Jordan Torunariga, they'll be looking to dust themselves up when they play Anderlecht away on Wednesday, before they then play Anderlecht at home on Sunday. In the Greek League, no games for Onyeka, but they'll be in action against AEK Athens away on Sunday. Remember, they've already clinched the title there. In Scotland, we saw both players start in the Europa League as Rangers lost 2-0 to Athletic Bilbao on Thursday. They didn't have any game in the league over the weekend. So next up for them, they play St. Mirren away on Saturday. In Sweden, Daniel Dagger's Molde play against Bodo Glimt today, 6:15 p.m. You remember, Bodo Glimt are now in the Europa League semi-final, which is an unheard of feat for a Norwegian side, and they're just fantastic. So, Daniel Dagger, we wish you well, but it's likely you're going to get thrashed. And of course, we spoke about Stellenbosch exploits for Chippa United against Kaizer Chiefs. Next up for them, they play Stellenbosch FC away on Saturday. So that's it in terms of the roundup of the players for the past week. Starboy of the week. Bronze medal this week, I have to give it to Alex Iwobi. Scored his 9th Premier League goal of the season against Chelsea and is having his best season in terms of numbers. His influence for Fulham cannot be understated. He's one of the best players in the league when you even look at how he's performed throughout the season. One of the linchpins of Fulham's play. Second top goal scorer for Fulham despite being a midfielder. Just amazing performance, even though they lost to Chelsea. So he gets the bronze medal. Silver medal this week, I want to give it to Umar Sadiq because even coming off the bench for the final 20-something minutes, he was able to score within 10 minutes with a really good finish. Well, scrappy finish, but strikers go. They all count, and hopefully his good form continues because they have 2 games over the next 7 days. And we continue to wish him well after he's resurrected his career playing for Valencia. Gold medal this week has to go to Chukwubuikem Ikwuemesi. When you score 2 goals and you get 1 assist, I don't care what the league is or the level. It's still the Belgian league, which is one of the better leagues in Europe. And even though it's a 4-4 draw for OH Leuven, that is very, very impressive. And my friend, you are the star boy of the week. Just to round up the podcast with the ones to watch, remember Umar Sadiq will be in action tomorrow for Valencia at home against Espanyol. Then we'll see RGK Sevilla play against Osasuna, 6 p.m. kickoff on Thursday. We will then see Ademola Lookman's Atalanta play against Lecce, 7:45 p.m. on Friday. And then on Saturday, we've got a bunch of games. Tella and Boniface's Bayer Leverkusen face Frank Onyeka's Orban, 2:30 p.m. kickoff. Akpoguma gives Orban's Hoffenheim play Dortmund, 2:30 p.m. kickoff as well. Southampton's boys Aribo and Onuachu will be playing Bassey and Alex Iwobi's Fulham, 3 p.m. kickoff. And then we'll see if Ndidi's Leicester go away to Wolves, which is just a routine game. Also, we'll see Gaziantep's Okereke host Fenerbahce's bright Osayi-Samuel, 5 p.m. kickoff. And then on Sunday, we'll see the big one for Nottingham Forest, Aina and Taiwan. Let's see if they could nurse themselves back to fitness. Hopefully, they'll be playing against Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-final, 4:30 p.m. kickoff on Sunday. Before finally, Victor Osimhen's Galatasaray will be going away to Eyüpspor in a 5 p.m. kickoff in the Turkish league. So that's it for this episode of the podcast. I want to thank you all for rocking with me. Sorry I didn't see the sun coming. You know, British weather, London weather. Sometimes the sun won't be out. It looked like we were going to be fine, and then all of a sudden I see the sunshine. So forgive me for any background issues. But once again, it's been a pleasure to bring you this episode of the podcast. Please remember we're Nigeria Football Weekly on all social media channels except Twitter. We're at NFWPOD. Continue to show us some love. I really appreciate it. If you have a comment, if you have a like, please drop it everywhere. Spotify, Apple Podcast, Audio Mac, we did it. Please continue to support the boy. And I just want to thank you all for listening. Until next time, take care and enjoy all the football over the coming week. Peace out. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and click the bell to get a notification whenever we drop a video. You can also find our social media channels listed below. And of course, up Super Eagles and Nigeriano they ever carry last.